Driving Miss Renault, a brand new boat on the circuit, Milner Urban finished second and third in the heats, has never won before.
Jim Cropfield and the Bud hoping to erase the disappointment of 1 year ago. They won the opening heat, but they didn't compete in the second.
So far, the best bet seems to be the Atlas. They have a first and a second, and Hanauer is certainly capable of winning. In the Squire shop, it's Tommy Deeth. He's been consistent with a fourth and a third, and remember, he's the 76 Gold Cup champion.
Next comes Jack Schaefer in the American Speedy Printing. Schaefer won the Consi.
And rounding out the six-boat final field, Ron Armstrong in Chet's Music. Remember, he won both heats in the slower division, but now for the first time, the boat goes in the water against the top qualifiers, the Bud and the Atlas.
Well, it's been a tremendous fight just to get into this final round. And for Jim Cropfield, he still has his problems.
A couple of big concerns in the Budweiser camp, Paul. They won the first heat comfortably, no problem there. Motor problems in the second heat. They've now changed engines for the final, but it's a question mark. And then let's not forget what happened last year, the fact they ran out of fuel, coming down to an apparent victory, compounded now by the fact that the race is 1 lap longer this year than a year ago. So 2 big question marks for Jim Cropfield and the Bud crew.
And for Chip Hanauer, trouble as well. The boat is still not handling.
No, and that boat is quite a bit lighter than Budweiser, so it wants to get up and fly quite a bit more. And they've been putting spoilers on the bottom of the boat, Paul, trying to get it nailed down on the water so it will start handling better for him.
And if those two continue to have difficulty, there is a boat I've been watching. Milner Urban is right there. He has been consistent throughout the run. No mechanical problems at all. If they would falter at the front, he's certainly knocking on the door. The course is set. The clock in its final seconds now as the 6 boats come to the line. A 15-mile-an-hour crosswind blows across the straightaway. The water 6 to 10 feet deep. Some of the drivers have complained about debris on the water. Ron Armstrong pulls way wide as they come down to the line.
You can see here Chip Hanauer down on the inside where he likes to start, and of course right next to him Cropfield, who wants to get down in there and keep tabs on one another as they head for that first turn. It's a good start. All of the boats are up on line. It's going to be crowded down there in the first turn.
5 boats hit the line together. Hanauer and Cropfield down on the inside where they want to be. Now Armstrong cuts across the front of Tommy Deeth. Deeth's boat is in the air, darts off the course. We've got problems here on the start. They keep the race running. Cropfield is out in front. Hanauer is right behind him, but Tommy Deeth now floating to a stop as Cropfield streams down the back straightaway.
Yes, Paul, Tommy Deeth ran right behind the rooster tail of Armstrong, and of course that is a tremendous amount of water flying back there. No doubt it knocked the front of his. There we see the boat in the water dead. Tommy Deeth obviously not in too bad a shape. He's standing up, waving his arms that he's okay, but come get me. He wants to go back to the dock.
So Tommy Deeth got washed down by the tons of water that are thrown off the back of these thunderboats. Here's Jim Cropfield out in front, being chased by Chip Hanauer. But a serious problem. Tommy Deeth fortunately not injured when he got washed down as Ron Armstrong came across the front. Here's a look at that first turn again. Now Ron Armstrong is on the far outside. Right next to him is Tommy Deeth. And Armstrong cuts across the front of Deeth's boat. Deeth gets washed down. That's the Budweiser down on the inside. But look at the tons of water that's pouring in on top of Tommy Deeth now. That had to do some damage.
Paul, it looked as though he got airborne way up in the air and very nearly went over. Here's another view of it. We'll look at it from the outside. There we see Armstrong cutting right across in front of Tommy Deeth. And of course, he took all of that water right in the face, up in the air, very high. It's a miracle that he didn't go over.
Tommy Deeth, a very fortunate young man. He was able to climb out of the cockpit, and they will tow the boat off the course as long as he stays with the boat. They decide that everything is safe. The race can continue on. Here is the second place boat, Chip Hanauer. He is chasing Cropfield, but there may be damage to this boat as well. We'll keep an eye on it.
Ron Armstrong, meanwhile, apparently oblivious to the problems that were created by his rooster tail for Tommy Deeth, maintains the number 3 position right now in Chet's Music.
Cropfield first, Hanauer second, Armstrong third. Over at the dock, they're now bringing Deeth's boat by. Let's go to Johnny Rutherford.
I'm going to try to move in and get a word. There you can see the boat. It's really damaged. The steering wheel is smashed down. Tommy Deeth, I can't get a word with him. He's headed for the ambulance, I think. He had blood on the front of his helmet, Paul.
Very serious damage to the Squire. Tommy Deeth washed down when Armstrong cut across the front. There is evidence of the tons of water that ride in the rooster tails of these hydroplanes. Here is our leader, Jim Kropfeld. He is well out in front. He is being pursued by last year's world champion, this man, Chip Hanauer in the Atlas. Ron Armstrong continues to ride in third place.
And Kropfeld is setting a sizzling pace, 127 mile per hour average on the opening lap. He's fallen off only slightly since that time. So Hanauer is really going to have to come up with something if he hopes to contend for this World Championship event title.
There you see the separation. First to second place. Here comes Chip Hanauer, but he has a lot of time to make up. But Hanauer seems to lose power just a little bit, and perhaps part of the reason, now you can see it. Look at that right sponson. Johnny Rutherford, there's a hole there.
Yes, obviously he's knocked the bottom out of the sponson, and it's poked a hole in the top.
And he is now rolling to a stop. Chip Hanauer apparently has assessed the damage to the right side of his boat and decided it cannot continue. Kropfeld is unchallenged for the lead.
And Hanauer, whatever the problem is, he is out of the cockpit. We could see him thrashing there, trying to unfasten the harness. He's gone to the back of the boat, Paul. He's in the water.
Hanauer is in the water. Now, the rules say the minute the pilot is in the water, the race is stopped. He is hanging on at the back end. Now, will the officials stop this race? And how badly is Hanauer's boat damaged? Does it really need to stop the race? Oh, there you see it. There's a big hole in the right side.
Yes, evidently the bottom of the sponson was knocked out, and the water pressure forced a hole in the top.
So the race has been stopped. Jim Kropfeld climbs out of his machine. They will have to rerun the entire event again. There is Bernie Little. He is with Jim Kropfeld. Gary Gerald is close by. We'll see if Gary can't move in now and get a word with Jim Kropfeld.
Leave it on for right now, okay? Okay. Let's just wait.
Jim,
Relax.
it's a whole new ball game now. What does this do to the nerves?
Well, it doesn't bother the nerves, but it sure's going to hurt the crew. we got to hope the engine holds together for 6 more laps.
Same thing happened in Seattle about a month ago. After we had 1 lap to go, had it won, somebody dove in the water, stopped the race. We had to go win it again.
All right.
So,
Atlas,
oh my God. Oh my God.
what do you think? Are you going to be able to get back in the water?
I don't know. I think I probably put some screws in the bottom, but when I came around there, I must have had something coming in. My steering worked, and so I came around here and tried to straighten out, and it wouldn't straighten out. Something's got bound up in there and tore the plates off there or something. I don't know what happened.
So Dave Cully and the Bud crew have work to do. Chip Hanauer, because he jumped in the water, will not be able to start when they rerun the World Championship. Bud and Kropfeld's boat now being lowered into the water as we are ready for a restart here. They did not have time, though, to work on the motor. Normally, they would have done that. That motor has been run very hard, but they had to pay all of their attention to the back of the boat getting it repaired. Here is Chip Hanauer's boat. You can see a giant hole in the right sponson where it has been badly battered.